Viewer discretion is advised. Your fave will be criticized.
That's Jan,
That's Chris.
and welcome to CCTV, the nonstop pop show.
And today we are speaking to a very special guest, Jenny Lyric.
So if you're wondering who we are, Shan and I have a huge range of experience in the music industry, from performing on stage and recording in the studio to working with artist management and record labels. So we analyze artists and their discographies from both the creative and business angles. And if you made it this far, please subscribe to our channel for more content and give us a like on this awesome video. To give a very quick intro, Jenny Lyric started in a girl group called Coco Avenue. And originally, they were a group of 6 fans who periodically met to make K-pop covers. And the girls gained fame through YouTube. Because the girls were in different parts of the United States, they ended up having to edit their videos and they gained notoriety. Eventually, 5 of the girls would make vocal covers in tandem with their dance covers, and they garnered attention from all over.
Indeed, and the group's consistent efforts led them to booking performances at K-Cons and other live events where, fun fact, I met the original 5 members of said group. And eventually the group refined itself into a formidable duo of Jenna Rogers, aka Jenna Rose, and Jenny Johnson, aka Jenny Lyric, who is joining us today. And from 2015 and 2017, the pair were able to release their original songs such as TTMU, which stands for Turn the Music Up, and EOTTAE. And they got a chance to perform at festivals in the States and even perform in Korea. And most notably, Jenny actually had the opportunity to fly to Korea to work with K-pop producer Shin In-soo on an English remake of his 90s track 훔쳐 보기, which was released through Warner Music Korea and published to 1THE this year.
Yes, that's awesome. So
Indeed.
since 2017, Jenny has worked in a collective performance group called Nuna and still has been releasing bilingual music as a solo artist. So we are so excited to have Jenny Lyric here with us. Welcome to the CCTV crew.
Thank you.
Yes, how are you doing today?
I'm doing so well. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Very
Again,
good.
just really tired. My voice sounds crazy today, but you
No,
you
it
look
doesn't.
lovely. Oh,
You got that sultry sound going on right now.
thank you. I'm trying to give a little bit of Tony, a little bit of Brax.
Yes.
Trying.
I love
Trying. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, to get us started, we would love to know, to people who don't know you, how did you get into K-pop, and what are some artists that you like now, and then what happened? How did that all get started?
So I actually got into K-pop because I'm so sorry, my cat is making a little noise in the background. I actually got into K-pop through Wonder Girls. So back in 2009, I think. I was scrolling YouTube I was listening to all these anime intros and exits and stuff. And then I saw Wonder Girls on the side and I was like, oh, what is this? And it was Wonder Girls Nobody. So I clicked on it. And from there, I was down the wormhole. I think, the wormhole that everybody talks about with K-pop. So from there, it was Shiny, Super Junior, SNSD, etc. And then right now, I would say I'm a second gen fan at heart still. So Taemin, I love Taemin still. Anytime any member of Shiny comes out with anything, of course. And also Hyorin. I really love Hyorin from the beginning. So when Summer came out with her and Tasum, I was crying. It was amazing to me. And then I really like NCT right now. They never miss ever.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
NCT is amazing.
Nice
Yes.
fix here. Nice fix for sure.
We are definitely second gen K-pop fans too. Shiny is my number 1. So
Yeah, Shiny.
yes.
Did you hang on real quick? Did you like Key's Bad Love?
I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet.
Oh, get off this chat.
Sorry.
We're gonna take a little break so you can do that.
That's
now.
gonna be
No
the
worries.
next thing I do right after this.
Yes.
I'm gonna go listen to it.
Yes.
Super
yes.
inspiring.
So in addition to the second gen K-pop, what are some of your influences as an artist?
So as an artist, my influences are definitely the old school R&B singers like Erykah Badu, Lauryn Hill, and right now some of my writing influences are Snow Allegra, Now, and there is one more that I'm always listening to. Oh, Sneed Harnett. Sneed Harnett is really amazing to me too as well.
Awesome.
Yes, all three amazing,
Right?
amazing. Oh my goodness, good taste. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Yes. Also, I love your stage name of Jenny Lyric. How did you come up with
Yeah.
that?
So okay, so it was kind of an ode to Alicia Keys. Alicia Keys was kind of the reason that I decided to become an artist. Her album was the first album I ever got, Songs in A minor in 2001. And she was just so inspiring to me. So I wanted something that kind of stemmed from like, kind of sounded like Keys, but wasn't. So I came up with this. I was like 10 years old when I came up with Lyric and it just stuck.
That is so cute.
I love it.
No, seriously, that's awesome. I feel like once you make your name, like it kind of not dictates your destiny, but that's the name that people hear for,
Mhm.
that's your artistry. That's like what people think of, like, oh, Lyric. Oh, whoa, 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 she got wordplay.
Yeah,
They're thinking words, they're thinking emotion. So that's an
right.
awesome name to have.
Thank you.
Have you ever thought about like changing your name ever?
Yes. I've
Oh,
been I've been constantly thinking like, is Jenny Lyric a little cheesy or corny? But so I was gonna change it to Jenny Kang, which is my husband's last name. But I decided not to because I feel like I've already kind of made kind of something of myself with this name. So I want to stick to it so people know, who I am, people who've supported me in the past.
right. Good decision. Nice decision. It's Jenny
Thank you.
Lyric, not hyphen Khan. No, no offense. No offense to hubby. But speaking of your career and starting out and making a name for yourself with the
Mhm.
last name Lyric, you were at the forefront of Black women in K-pop. Like, let's be real here. I had never in my life seen Black women do what Coco Avenue has done in the past, and even now, a lot of people are doing a lot of solo work, right?
Mm,
But at the start of your time in Coco Avenue, did you think that K-pop would be where it is right now?
no, I did not. But I'm so, so happy. I'm so, so like I'm proud of K-pop because it's crazy because back in the day, people were like, what are you listening to K-pop for? Like, what is that? You kind of a loser. Like, people would put you
Yeah.
down for listening to K-pop, but now all the DJs are playing K-pop, So I think it's so amazing where K-pop has come because I never would have thought it would be here, especially like with BTS, going to the BMAs, the Grammys, all of this stuff. Like I'm like, wow. So I'm excited for K-pop now.
For sure, for
Yeah.
sure. Is there any passion or any interest for you to continue trying to not infiltrate, but just to kind of get a little bit more integrated into like the Korean sound currently? Or do you think you rather stay stateside, but just in kind of like interpret Korean into your lyricism now? Like, do you want to stay here or do you think you want to try to infiltrate out there? What do you think you want to
To be
do?
honest, I kind of want to do what I'm doing. I really like that I have full control over my sound. Um, as far as like infiltrating, I would say I do want to write more. I do want to try to get placements for K-pop, which me and my husband we do on the side. But as for my sound, I just kind of like what I'm doing as of now.
Awesome, awesome. And to follow that up, you started out in the beginning, like before people know what K-pop was and had an idea of how things worked and how sometimes companies aren't the greatest with their artists. I mean, you're a foreigner. Is there anything that you've noticed that is still kind of meh? Any kind of insight behind the scenes? Because people think K-pop, glitz, glam. Oh my gosh, I got a
Right.
placement. But what goes into that?
So I have a little story. I was working with this producer named. So I flew to Korea. I went to this studio. I believe it was called like Studio. It's where like all the K-pop idols and stuff record, and it was the most difficult thing that I've ever done in my life. I was in the studio crying. It was, and you watch all of these like K-pop shows, these like what's like Produce 101,
Right.
101, for example, and you see these people crying and breaking down, and you're like, girl, it's okay. But when I was in that, like getting yelled at, getting told like, no, you need to do it like this, like it's difficult. It really takes a toll on your self-esteem. And I just from that like couple of days working with him, I was just like, this is really hard, like what these people are going through constantly. So that's one thing I would say, like, and then wanted me to do a music video, and his idea for the music video, who told me he wants it to be very black. So he wanted it to be a bunch of like graffiti in the background. He wanted me to be kind of like gangster, like thuggish. So, and you know, a lot of K-pop groups, they still do these things. They have these tropes where it's very culturally appropriating, you know, Black culture.
Yeah.
And during this little project, I really had an insight on, you know, how they kind of force this stuff on you. If my husband wasn't there to tell them like, hey, no, we're not gonna do it this way, you know, I think I would have been forced to have to go along with whatever he wanted.
Oh,
Wow.
wow. Wow. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Because again, a lot of people see the, oh my God, it's out. And they don't know it really goes. And on top of that, you are a grown woman, right? And at the time, you were still a grown woman. You weren't like a
Hmm.
16-year-old, 19-year-old impressionable young lady.
Exactly.
So if you're saying that, then that's intense for sure. So
Yeah.
shout out to hubby. Shout
Yeah,
out to
because
him.
what would I have done?
Wow, that's crazy. So how do you think, what do you think about the cultural appropriation now? Obviously, it's become more and more of a topic that fans have
Mhm.
noticed and are talking about. Do you think it's, how do you think it's changed maybe these few generations? And like, what do you think of it now?
I don't think it's really changed.
Yeah.
You know, like for example, Lisa, I love Lisa, but you know, she's constantly coming out with the braids. Fans are constantly saying, like, hey, this bothers us. Like, can you stop? And still, you know, her most recent release, she still, you know, donned the braids and everything. And she did apologize, which is great. But you know, we're tired of hearing apologies.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, I feel like they kind of do it and they're like, we can just say sorry later if people have a problem with it. And it's like, it's been how many years? Why isn't there change yet? Why isn't there someone speaking up saying like, hey, we shouldn't do this? You know?
Mhm.
Right. Understandable.
So
Understandable for sure.
yeah, it's a little frustrating. And I can definitely understand like fans, like especially Black fans constantly having to deal with this. And it's like it's like this line of how can I be a fan of them still, but then see them constantly misrepresenting my culture.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. I was actually going to ask you, like, how do you kind of, I guess, is it the word toe the line on that? Because even for
Mhm.
me, I think, oh, this is some, you know,
Exactly.
it's a little annoying. So sometimes I don't even watch. Sometimes I just listen, or if it's really bad, I just
Mhm.
don't even listen to the artist anymore because I don't have to. There's so much music,
Right.
including yours.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's definitely still a lot of education that needs to happen, I
Mhm.
think. Yeah. All right. So going back to kind of your start in K-pop or just in music in general, you did start in a girl group. So how
Yeah.
was that experience working on a team, and what are the biggest differences now that you're a solo artist?
So working on a team, it was so much fun, especially being younger. You know, you always had someone to support you. We were just, you know, we were best friends. So that was just it was great. But now I find it I'd say it's a little bit difficult for me now because I'm really, really indecisive and I have a hard time wanting to put out things and, you know, being confident about it. But when I was in a group, it was kind of like I always had that support, someone saying, like, no, we did good. Like, no, this sounds great. Um, but also in a girl group, it was a little difficult because we had these different ideas. We would clash sometimes on what we wanted to do. It wasn't always, you know, easygoing. But now, you know, I do exactly what it is I want to do. Any kind of sound I want to try, I try it. Any kind of look I want to try, I try it, which is great. But I will say I do kind of miss the feeling of having like some people to support me at the same
Mhm.
time.
You know, I wanted to be in a girl group so badly because of y'all. I was like, I'll go be in a girl. I want to be in a girl. You know, it was really nice to see a friend of mine actually introduced me to you all. And I remember watching you all do your dance covers. And I think the
Mhm.
first one I remember seeing, the dance cover was All I Do Is Think of You when you guys are 2 p.m.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God.
It's it's gone now.
Oh my
It's gone now. Y'all thought you could hide it, but it's okay. I remember.
Well, it's on private because looking back at them old videos, I'm like, oh no, we put this out.
Felt that. I'm cackling. I have myself on mute. I'm cackling. But yeah, you know, even with Turn the Music Up, y'all hit that. You know, I had to
Yeah.
scour the internet to find it again.
I had that one on private as well.
¿Por qué? Where? What's up?
Well, I wasn't really happy with how it came out, with how the song came out in Korean and everything. I wasn't really confident about it. So, I kind of just I tucked it and buried it and pretended like it never happened.
Oh yeah, yeah. Speaking of Korean, you know, you've been singing in Korean for years, and your spouse is also Korean as well.
Mhm.
Are you fluent in Korean, or are you just able to articulate yourself well?
I feel like I'm able to have like conversation in
Mhm.
Korean, but I wouldn't say that I'm just like amazing or, the best in Korean. I do need to continue to study a lot more. But I have been getting better and better, especially with being married to my husband. He's really helped me a lot. His parents are really helping me. I'm learning satori a little bit more because they're from Daegu. So I have to so like, when they're speaking sometimes all this textbook stuff I learned, they're not saying the same thing. So I'm like, wait, hold on. You gotta run that back. But I feel like I am getting better and better, way better than I was before.
That's awesome. Um, and back to your accomplishments. What are some of your proudest moments in the group and even as a soloist?
Um, I'd say in the group, it was definitely when we released our first and last Korean. Oh wait, no, I forgot. Turn the Music Up was a song, but definitely when we released EOTTAE and it kind of blew up. That was when I was like, oh my god, like this is really what we were supposed to do. But then we broke up right after. Um, and I'd say for myself, well, last year the song I worked on in Korea, it got released through One the K, and after that, I was just like, okay, I think I've accomplished everything that even Coco Avenue wanted to accomplish. So it was a big deal for me. I cried. So it was I was really happy about that. That was probably my biggest accomplishment.
That is so sweet. So, so sweet.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And speaking of your Coco Avenue's last major single.
Mm.
Listen, I'm salty. A little salty.
So I be a little salty too sometimes.
Listen, I loved you two together, but I also enjoyed what you have done as a solo artist and even with your collective Nuna. So your most recent release is the acoustic version of Up There. Ooh.
Mhm.
So tell us about the track from the first inception of it up until it's now the newer interpretation.
Mm. Okay, so it's a long story. Y'all got time? Okay, so when I first wrote it, I found this beat online somewhere, and I was like, yeah, this is really dope beat. I'm gonna write something in Korean to it. So like, it was my first song that I actually wrote in Korean from start to finish, and then I brought it to Jenna. Jenna liked it, um, and I think like a week or two later, I met my husband, and he's a producer. So I brought the song to him, and I was like, "Hey, can you reproduce this track? Because the track I found on the internet was just not usable anymore. Someone had bought it already." So he reproduced it, and then I recorded it with him. He helped me to like fine tune some of the things so it didn't sound textbook too much. So it sounded a little bit more poetic. And then from there, Jenna came and she recorded her part and it was released. And we broke up maybe like 2 months after that. And I was kind of sad because I'm like, we didn't really get to push this song the way that I really wanted to push it. So I had another person who came to me for Nuna Gang when she wanted to start the group. And she really liked Out There. And she was like, why don't we just do like a collab on it? So she ended up doing a verse on it as well, and we started promoting that a little bit with Nuna, but we never released it officially. But it is signed over to a publisher, so it might get dropped on a movie or something. But I wanted to release that version, and we kind of had a falling out. So she decided she didn't want me to release that version with her. She said we don't sing together anymore, so it doesn't make sense. So I was like, okay, I don't know what to do anymore. But my husband was like, I'll help you recreate it. We'll redo something. So he helped me out a little bit. I ended up getting a guitarist to be on it, and then I was like, let me just release it as my own, just to kind of release that energy, and then now I can go ahead and start new things. but I felt like this song was just so important to me that I wanted to release it as my own, as something that I can promote.
Awesome. And kind of just give it like, this is Jenny lyric. This is me.
Yeah.
It started off this way and I want it to continue. I think it
Mhm.
deserves that. So
Thank
respect to
you.
you.
Thank
Definitely,
you.
definitely. So with this new production, is there anything that you would like for the audience to notice in the production, or maybe something a little bit different you did vocally? Is there something you want us to really hone in on?
Well, I feel like I was able to add a little bit more soul to this one. I changed the key a little bit. I was able to just kind of put all of my emotion into singing this version. And I don't know, I really like this version a lot. So I hope the audience feels me on it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We
It's
do.
beautiful. Yeah, it's
Thank
absolutely
you.
beautiful.
You recently, not recently, but like maybe a couple months ago, you released View with your husband.
Hmm.
What was that like, working with him and releasing something that was so poignant and meant so much to you? Could you give us a little bit of background?
That was difficult. Uh, because like just working with a significant other can be really difficult because we clashed a lot. There were things that I wanted to add into the song that he didn't want to add into it. But can I tell you from the start like how it started out?
Yeah.
Okay, so I actually wrote the song when we got into an argument one day and he left, and it was his production. I just spent the whole day and just sang the song. And then one day I came home and he was singing it. And I was like, wait, what are you doing? This is my song. What do you mean? And but he sounded really, really amazing. I had never heard him sing before. He had never sang anything to me. So I was shook. Um, and then I decided to just keep myself on the second verse, and that's kind of how it came to be. The music video was really difficult because he did not want to do any kind of music video or any kind of promotion. He just wanted to put it out for placements, but I really pushed him. I was like, no, we have to do this. So like I dyed his hair the day before. We got a director. We went to like the middle of nowhere, some kind of desert area, and just filmed it. He was really nervous the whole time, so I had to kind of hype him up the whole time. But I think it came out pretty well. It came out as my vision.
Agreed. It was nice. I just wanted to kind of give a little bit of love to that as well.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Awesome. So now that this is out, what's your next move? What's the next sound? What are you working on?
So I'm actually working on like releasing an EP. I have a bunch of songs recorded. So me and my management, we're just working on trying to pick which songs are going to be best. We're actually kind of clashing. She really wants me to release an EP, but I kind of want to do it in singles, just for promotional purposes. But the sound is very R&B. I have a couple Korean tracks that I'll be releasing on it, and a couple of tracks in English as well.
Ooh, that's awesome. Very exciting.
Yes, indeed. Speaking of sounds and whatnot, I was curious to know that as a songwriter, as a vocalist, what are some things that you find to be effortless for you? Like, oh yeah, I can write a good melody, or I can write a good top line, or I can write an awesome hook. And what are some difficulties you have as an artist?
Hmm. Okay, so I think as far as writing, I'm really good at a good top line, like writing top lines really quickly, and also with a lot of vocal production. I'm really good at that. But sometimes my hooks is not so easy. Sometimes I got to come back to it a couple days or months later to try to fix it up. But as far as like verses, lyrics, I think I'm really, really good at that. But I
Same.
the hook is always the hardest part.
Yeah, yeah. There's so many elements you have to think of.
Mhm.
Would you consider your writing style to be more Western or a little bit more influenced by K-pop? Because I can say, like, K-pop wise, my dynamic structure kind of depends on like just that, creating different kind of levels and different kind of
Right.
layers of things. So it makes my writing process a little bit confusing for some people.
I feel you. Because,
You know,
K-pop has so many different parts of the song. It literally sounds like different songs every time. But I feel like you nailed that. Like, you are so dope, girl. So
this ain't
dope.
about me. This ain't about me.
I'm
Thank you.
sorry. But I'd say my style is a lot more Western because my influences are stem from people, you know, from childhood, like Lauryn Hill type of vibes. So I'd say my style is definitely more Western.
Awesome.
Nice.
Still very cool. Are there going to be any more dancing videos, any more dancing, anything from you?
I don't know. I really want to dance again. Like it's been so long. But I don't know. Maybe if I release a nice little pop song, have some little dance,
You
little
know,
get
back it up a
Yes.
little bit, back it up.
I feel you though. After the pandemic, I totally stopped dancing.
Mhm,
It's very hard to get back into. So
right? And
yeah.
now I'm all out of shape. I can't even keep up no more.
Felt that.
Oh man. So yeah, so it's been great seeing kind of people from all different backgrounds now embrace K-pop. And now there are a few other Black singers, performers, and artists that are in K-pop. So are there any that you'd like to collaborate with?
Rakia, like she's so dope. When I saw her, like when I saw what she came out with, I was just so proud because this was like what Coco Avenue wanted to see. Like this, we wanted to inspire people to, you know, get into K-pop and, you know, embrace it. So seeing Rakia and how she's flourishing and how dope she is, even her, you know, non-K-pop songs, I really would love to sit down and write with her.
Yeah, she's I was in the video for
Yes, girl. I saw you killing it as always.
you too nice to me. Fun fact to the listeners and the viewers. She when I first started making music, Jenny had heard the bridge of I Like You, and she was so supportive.
That's still my
You
favorite song, girl.
thank you. Oh my God, thank you.
I love that song so much.
Oh, thank you. I had a sexy single and I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And I messaged you and Jenny was at work and she was like, listen, I'm gonna listen to it real quick. I'm gonna watch the video. I'm at work right now, but just give me a second. She gave me all the notes. She was like, you're very, very kind. Like, I know we're not like getting into like a whole like expose, true Hollywood story of your life, but I want people to know that too. Like, you are definitely someone that, even though you don't put your personal life out there, once we get to know you, it's like, wow, she's a great person.
Oh,
Um,
thank
you're
you.
welcome. But yes, no, I think you and Rakai would be great because she does fall more into R&B, right? But a lot of people
Mhm.
go, oh yeah, K-pop. And she's like, no, I just sing Korean
Right.
alternative. So I think that would make more sense than like, you guys that are all of a sudden doing like, we're gonna do a dance pop EDM track or yeah, it
Right,
feels a lot
right.
more organic for sure. For sure.
Mhm.
What other artists or like producers or writers are on your list of dream collaborations?
Girl, so Dean has always been a dream of mine to work with. But I don't know how much he's releasing these days. After you remember that fall where he fell down the stairs on live stream and disappeared. But I think I'm sure he's still working and writing for people, but that would be just the dream collaboration for me, working with Dean or someone like Jordan. Um, that would just be amazing. So I think for like at least 5 or 6 years, that's been my one dream.
Nice. Well, let's put it out in the universe.
Oh
So
yes. Oh
Yes,
yes.
yes,
So
here it is.
universe, hear me.
he fell down them stairs and never came back up.
Never came back.
Oh man. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us here on CCTV. Do you have anything else you'd like to say to your fans?
Um, Go stream EOTTAE, the acoustic version,
Yeah.
please. Thank you
Indeed.
guys so much for having me, though. This was so great. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem at all. And honestly, put more music out, Missy.
Yes,
Ooh.
yes,
Says me,
Yes.
yes,
but
it's coming.
okay, good.
It's coming.
And how can people find you online?
You can find me on Instagram at Jenny the Lyric. You can find me on any streaming platforms, Jenny Lyric. And on TikTok, Henny the Lyric with an H.
Yes.
You know, like Hennessy, because
Nice.
Anything's possible. Let's get it. That being said, everyone, go check out EOTTAE. Go check out Jenny Lyric and give her lots of love. Of course, hit us up on all of our social media accounts at CCTV Pops and give us a like, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell. Until next time, that's Chris.
That's Shan. That's Jenny.
And we are CCTV.